Alright, today we're going to put a K&K pickup in this Martin D35 guitar. And this guitar has been in a couple of the videos already. I've done a replacement bridge on it. This is the one I think I did the neck reset on. I'm not sure. Anyway, I've showed this guitar in a couple of the videos. It's had a complete overhaul. It's getting ready to get a pickup. It had a different kind of pickup in it. Had an under saddle. And I cut a long saddle here. Long saddle and under saddle pickups don't work very well together. Besides that, I hate under saddle pickups, period. So we're going to put a K&K in it. This is what the K&K pickup looks like, for those of you that have never seen one, and surely you probably have seen it. It's got 3 heads on it, like this. And I like these pickups a lot. They're very, very simple to install. It's a simple installation. There's no batteries required. You don't even know what's in the guitar. You know, you don't have a bunch of wires hanging around. You don't have a preamp inside the guitar. If you need a preamp, which you generally don't need with the K&K, but if you want a preamp for your control, put it outside the guitar. Use the K&K XLR, pure XLR. Set it on the floor, put it on a mic stand, do your stuff outside the guitar. And then you don't have all the weight in the instrument. You don't have batteries, you don't have all that junk. So. Alright, you can get options with the K&K. You can get a volume switch, things like that, but then there's just more wires and more stuff. So I like the simple K&K. I'm a K&K dealer. I can use any K&K I want in my guitars, and I use a simple K&K. Plug it in. I used to have a mic, the Trinity system with the mic and all that, and I found out I used about 90% pickup and 10% mic. The mic is where all the feedback happened. So, and then you have the weight of all that in there, and I just got rid of it and went back to the straight K&K. Okay, first step you got to do is ream the end pin out. And this is the best reamer, in my humble opinion. This is from StMac, and it's a semi-fluted, so this side over here is solid. That keeps it the whole round. These are about 60, 70 bucks or so. They might be a little too expensive if you're only doing one. If you're only doing one pickup, you can use a step drill. You can drill your holes successively larger until you get up to the correct size, whatever you need to do. I've done that before. If you use a nice cobalt metal drilling bit that's nice and sharp, you can go up in steps pretty readily. The whole trick to using a drill or a reamer, as the case may be, is use what I call a soft hand. Don't force it. You've got the hole from the end pin already in here, and just let the reamer guide itself down there. The way I like to do it is I just set the guitar over like this on my bench, put a towel over the backside right there, and I just press up against it. And I've done hundreds upon hundreds of these, so it's pretty easy for me to do. But you do whatever you have confidence in. You've got to know how to use your tools. That's the main thing. If you're not comfortable using your tool, don't practice on your guitar. Okay? Here's a reamer, and basically I just hold it like that by a soft hand. I just let it guide in. This is pretty good. Ready to go. The StMac reamer has 2 steps to it. The first step right here is a little bit smaller diameter. The other step is a full 1/2 inch. And with a K&K, you can get by with the smaller one. You don't have to go to a full 1/2 inch. Once you got your hole reamed, get that out of the way so you don't knock it over. And then the other tools you're going to need, or I like to use, you can do however you want. I need a mirror. I'm going to put the mirror in the bottom of the guitar, see what's going on. I've got a light. This is a StMac light, and again, these Nebo lights that you can get at Home Depot, etc., these are great, man. They take AA batteries, and they are super bright lights. In fact, I'll just go ahead and pop it in here. You never have too much light when you're working on these. There's one from StMac. They no longer sell. I wish I'd have bought a couple of them. It uses a rechargeable USB connection. Okay, I've got it in there. I've got lots of nice light. Then, that's hard to say, nice light. Lots of nice light. This is a jig that I made, and you'll get one with your K&K pickup that looks like this. It's plastic. It's got holes drilled in it. And they want you to stick the dowel in here and use this one free floating. And that's fine, but I don't like to juggle all that. So I just made it where it's fixed. The idea is just to put your jig in here like this. And you draw a line on here as to where the saddle is. Okay? So like this. Got too many lights in there. You get that one out. Move that over. Okay. Anyway, you got the jig on here, and you draw a line on it as to where the saddle is. And, of course, that's going to vary a little bit because as you come up to the treble side, the saddle moves away on a Martin guitar. But that's all right. Just know what your line represents, okay? So in this case, the line is exactly on the treble side, and the saddle is just behind that line on the bass side. I want the pickup to be underneath the saddle, but on a K&K it's not all that critical. It's very forgiving of placement. Alright, the way my jig works is it spans 2 holes at one time. So it's going to drop the pickup right in there. So I've got it between the E and the G, and then I'm going to move it over here, and it's going to span these two, and then it's going to span the E and the A. Okay? So that's that jig. This jig spans adjacent holes. So it's going to span the E and the A, and then the D and the G, and the E and the B. And I like my jig better. And I would rig this jig up to be the same, but the hole is not quite small enough right here. So I just cut this out of a scrap piece of wood. I've got a line on it, and this is the jig that I use on all of my pickup installations. I've got one peg that's taller than the other one, and that just makes it easier for me to get that in there, hold it, and then kind of turn it until I get it on, and then pull them back up. Okay? So you need a jig. I recommend a jig. I usually use my finger and just reach in there and place it, and then the jig is just easier, more consistent. It doesn't take you any time to make one. Okay, I got my mirror in there, got my lights in there. I like to see what's going on. Make sure the bridge plate's clean. Make sure there's no dust on it, anything like that. You need super glue. This is Gorilla Gel Super Glue. It works just great. You can use sticky tape. You can use sticky stuff, but the best way to put the K&K on is with the Gorilla Glue. If you think that you want to move the pickup elements around and try location, you can use your sticky tape. But I've done that. And the best place is to put the pickup right here, in between the 2 strings, in between the 2 pairs. If you want a little bit more compensation one way or the other, you can scoot it over a little. Some people like to have the pickup a little bit on the outside. Whatever. You can play with it if you want to. And I've played with it. And there's some guitars I have moved one side or the other. Now, I'm going to put the E and the A element first. And I have a piece of putty on here that you're going to get with your K&K pickup. And I stick it on my jig right there. You can see the line on the jig. The E is back a little bit further, so I'm going to push this one back just a tiny bit. I also like to angle the element wire like this. It's not coming straight out. It's not coming out for the side. It's coming out for this side, because as it goes on, I want these wires to come to the center of the guitar. You see? I don't want them coming out like this and then forcing them together. I'm going to go ahead and make them come towards the X brace. So I just stick it on there. And the trick to this is to not hold the jig, but to hold the pickup. So hold the pickup and guide the jig in like that. And you can use your fingers and you can do this like that. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my helmet camera in here. And then you can see this happen from the inside of the guitar. So here we go. Turn on the camera. We're recording. Hello, little camera. Okay? Now, I'll merge that in with this above board video. Super glue. I recommend you get comfortable using super glue before you work on your guitar. Always put the super glue on away from the guitar. If you're at all nervous, put a shield over the guitar or something. Put a drop like that. That's about all it takes. Right there. Bring this in. And again, I'm holding on to the element, the wire, and I'm not holding on to the jig. The reason for that is that the wires want to twist. Again, I'm holding on to the element, the wire, and I'm not holding on to the jig. The reason for that is that the wires want to twist and they'll come off of it. So here we go. Put that pin in, bring it up. I'm using my finger, which you'll see on the helmet camera. You just hold it. You can reach in like that, hold it with your finger if you want to. Leave it in there. Come off of it. So here we go. Put that pin in, bring it up. I'm using my finger, which you'll see on the helmet camera. You just hold it. You can reach in like that, hold it with your finger if you want to. Leave it in there about a minute. I'm using my, you'll see this on the helmet camera, but I'm using my finger now that it's in place. I'm using my finger to hold the pickup in place. You want that glue to dry before you wiggle it loose. I like to use the putty rather than the sticky tape because the putty release is easier for me, especially after it's been used a couple of times and it's a little bit dirty and not so sticky. You've got to break the putty bond before you break the glue bond, right? So once that's pretty stuck, you can just leave it alone. You can let it sit, get a drink. You need to always stay well hydrated. So this is Ultima. I use Ultima electrolyte replacer. I'm on the keto diet. I've been on keto. I can't even call it a diet anymore. I've been on keto for almost 2 years now. I drink 5 of these a day. 30 ounces. A lot of water. It's good. Okay? It's been in there a while now. I'm going to come in here and we're going to probably switch to the helmet cam at this point. And what I do is just wiggle my jig and see if it's going to come loose. See if it's going to come loose or whether the pickup is going to come loose. If the pickup comes loose at all, and it's got to come out, you got to put more glue on it. You got to stick it back up there again. That's a real headache. So in real life, when I'm not doing videos, a lot of times I sit here and I play my mandolin and play a tune. I could do that for you. Let's see. I'm going to wiggle it. Real careful. I'm going to wiggle it. Real careful. Putty's coming loose. And ta-da! Putty's loose. Pull the jig out. Putty's coming loose. And ta-da! Putty's loose. Pull the jig out. Reshape my putty into a little mound here. And now we do the second head. Same way. See, these wires like to twist. And that's why I always hold the jig. I'm sorry, I always hold the wire rather than the jig when I'm installing it. Okay, the middle one now is going to go on straight. And I'm going to put it just a little bit right there. Okay, so it's straight on the jig. Put some glue on it. Come on, glue. Time for a new bottle. I'll lay it on the side. Down to the helmet cam. Down to the helmet cam. I'm going to put this one up through the D and the G. Bring it up with my finger. Hold it. And we'll talk about something. I'm going to put this one up through the D and the G. Bring it up with my finger. Hold it. And we'll talk about something. Now, sure. The secret to success on working on guitars. Patience. Patience, take the time to do it right, and be familiar with your tools. I think that's the main thing, is be familiar with your tools, know what your tools do, how to use them, what you can do with them. That's one reason maybe I don't like to have a lot of specialized tools. You know, I don't have the StewMac, string gauge, all that. I use my feeler gauges. The more I use my feeler gauges, the more comfortable I am using them, the more things I can do with them, with one tool. I'm kind of a one-tool person, you know, except when it comes to guitars. But even then, I'd most definitely have my favorite guitars. The Pru OMD. Sunburst one. Okay. That's pretty good. That's not going to move right now. I'm going to let it sit. Let it dry. Let me get something here. This is a secret weapon. And I don't know where you're going to get one of these, but you can make one. And this is a guitar cord, and it has a small plug. This plug is small and fits inside the butt end here. So you can see what's going to happen is when I get done here, I'm going to run this cord inside the guitar, and I'm going to hook up to the plug, and I'm going to pull it out that way. And this is like one of the handiest things I have. You can use chopsticks and get it and all that, but I'm telling you what, if you make yourself one of these, and you know, a dead cord or whatever, take the unthread this if you need to, so that you don't have the sleeve in the way, and see if you can find a connector. Lacking that, you can use an old guitar string. Get yourself an E string or something like that, run it through here, and tie it onto the jack, and you can pull it through that way. But golly, I'm telling you, I did this so much. This thing is invaluable. If I didn't have one of these, I would make one from a dead plug. I would get a dead plug right here, and I would solder some wire onto it, or just tie wire on it, and use this as my pull-through. So handy. So handy. Okay. So I don't know how long I've talked, but let's see how we're doing here. We'll wiggle it again. Wiggle it again. Putting a little down pressure, and I'm wiggling at the same time, and off the putty goes. You just do this real slow. Take your time. You're not getting paid by the hour, you're getting paid by the job. Now, there's a little bit of putty left on there, and you can see this from the helmet camera. I'm going to take a chisel, and I'm going to come in here and very carefully just scrape that loose. You could even use your finger. I'm putting a little down pressure, and I'm wiggling at the same time, and off the putty goes. You just do this real slow. Take your time. You're not getting paid by the hour, you're getting paid by the job. Now, there's a little bit of putty left on there, and you can see this from the helmet camera. I'm going to take a chisel, and I'm going to come in here and very carefully just scrape that loose. You could even use your finger if you want to, but again, I'm pretty comfortable using the chisel to do this. I'm not putting any pressure at all on the pickup. I'm just scraping the putty off. The putty's not going to hurt a thing on the pickup element. You can leave it on there if you want, but it just looks a little sloppy to me. I'm getting paid to do this. You're not, you know. Okay, last element. And this one, I'm going to angle in, like this. So that when it's inside the guitar, it's going to come from the hole towards the X brace. And again, you'll see all this on the helmet camera, how I'm angling these wires. See, that wanted to break off of there. I was holding it by the jig, and the pickup wire was trying to twist on me. Put a little gel on, put that aside. I'm going to put the last wire on. And there you are. There we go. Put. Looks good. Hold it with my finger. That's really about all there is to a K&K. The hardest part is drilling the hole, if you've never drilled the hole. And take your time. It wouldn't hurt to put a piece of tape on it, on the outside of the finish, just in case you do make any chips or anything, you'll catch them, but I've never done it. You get the right tool, you get that reamer. We're going to get a step drill or something, and just take your time, pay attention to what you're doing. Holding that up there with my finger. Okay, that's it. Take a look at them. Look good to me. The only thing you're going to watch for is if your bridge is slotted, you need to make sure that the pickup element is not up against the ball end. So, you don't want to get the pickup element too close to the pinholes. If you're going to air by pulling it away just a little bit. And yeah, it might not be perfectly under the center of the saddle, but that's okay. Again, the K&K is not that sensitive to placement. And it's a lot better to have it clear the ball end than it is to hit the ball end, because if the ball end hits the element, it's going to make a lot of noise. It's going to rattle. That string is going to be way too loud. So clear. Like on this pickup here, you can see in the camera, I've got the low E to the A. Actually, maybe just a tiny bit on the edge of the bridge plate. That's not going to hurt anything. Again, I want the clearance away from that ball end. It'll be just fine. I'll go ahead and put this jack in here right now. Put the cord in. Knock my helmet camera over. We're done with the helmet camera. Trusty little thing. Turn it off. We're good. Got my cord running in here. Take these bolts off. Nuts. Bolts, the nuts. Take those off. The only other thing you got to watch for is how much of the jack is going to stick out. You want the shoulder right here to be just a little bit below inside the guitar so that you can pull up on it. So you're going to want the shoulder to be like maybe right there. Just a tiny, tiny little bit inside so that when you tighten it, it'll pull it in. Once I get my depth set, I'm going to use blue Loctite. I'll show you that. So I'm going to clip this in. Like that. Jack's clipped into the pickup. And now I can pull it out. Back and forth as many times as I want. I don't have to deal with chopsticks or anything. Okay, I'm going to bring this out here. And I've got all these lights in here and it's hard to show you, but you look right here and I've got that much thread sticking out. And I've got, that's just about where I want it. Get lucky sometimes. Bring it back in. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to back this sleeve out just a little. See, it's almost at the end. And it wouldn't hurt to take up just a little bit of this. Get my blue Loctite. Blue Loctite is a vibration Loctite, so it's going to keep the sleeve from vibrating loose inside the guitar. Every now and then, I get one that vibrates loose and the customer complains he's got a rattle in there. Yeah, you got a rattle inside there. Put this on. Run the sleeve back up there. Snug them up. Blue Loctite can be taken loose with hand tools pretty easily. It's not as aggressive as red Loctite. Do not use red Loctite. I'm going to adjust that just a tiny bit there. This one wants to be almost all the way out. I've only got like maybe 2 threads holding that sleeve on. And so that's why you have the lock cut, because it's not going to take much for this thing to get loose and vibrate. My phone. Okay. Pull the jack out. Now take your washers and things. You can hold this from the inside. Push it up there, push the washer on, put the nut on. Tighten it up. Now I'm going to take the pickup out. I've still got my jig in there, you see. I'm just working real carefully so I didn't disturb it. Let the super glue dry. I'm going to wiggle this one loose just like I did the others. Now it comes. There it is. Reach up and grab that putty that's in there. Got that one. Get the middle one. Get the putty off. Right there. You can also come in with another piece of putty, you know. You can take your putty like this, get a ball of putty, and you can reach in there and swab the little stray pieces off. Yeah, if I had fingernails, this would be easier, and I don't have fingernails. Okay? So once again, there's my little jig. Looks just like that. Got that. Now I'm going to bring the sleeve. There's a rubber sleeve. Move that rubber sleeve to where I want it. To hold the pickup wire, there it goes. To hold the pickup wires together. I don't see any need on the K&Ks to use any other the K&K pickup to me is this simple. It's glued in. I'm going to put my camera back in. I want you to see how the wires hang inside here. Move that rubber sleeve to where I want it to hold the pickup wire. There it goes. To hold the pickup wires together. I don't see any need on the K&Ks to use any other fasteners to hold the wires up. When you do it right, the wires will come around in a smooth curve and go back to the jack, and they don't hit anything, and there's no need to put little clips or anything, tape, anything like that. That is, in fact, the beauty of the K&K pickup to me, is that it's simple, it's glued in, not going to go anywhere, and you don't have to have a bunch of junk inside your guitar. I'm moving the helmet camera around here to give you a view of the inside of this guitar. Okay? Alright, got that on there. Now we're going to tighten the nut on the outside, and the first thing I'm going to do is get all my lights out of here this time so we don't make a bunch of noise, knocking lights around and horrifying people. Because man, a good resonant guitar really makes a lot of noise when you drop something in it. Okay, got that out of the way. Now we're going to tighten the nut on the back. To do this, bring it back down again like this, and get a very small Allen wrench. Very small Allen wrench or a drill bit or whatever, and slide it through the hole here. Slide it through the hole. I'll let you hold on to it. StewMac sells a set of these wrenches that are great for this. They're bicycle wrenches, basically. You can do it with a pair of pliers if you're careful. Get a pair of slip joint pliers like this. The jaws will be flush, and you can adjust them correctly and reach over the top and tighten it. Again, if you're comfortable using the tool, you can do that. I do a lot of these, so I like to use the right tool. It is on a K&K pickup, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. It used to be 14 millimeters, and now it's 1/2 inch. You can also bend these. These are really lightweight. You can bend them so that you can come in like this and do it. But you just come in underneath your holder right here. Tighten the jack. Snug it, you know. Don't get on it. But it needs to be snug, otherwise it's going to come loose, rotate, cause all kinds of trouble. And that is about how much of the jack you want sticking out right there, because you're going to put the end cap on it now. You can also Loctite the end cap if you want to. I don't do that personally on most customers' guitars, because if they want to take this off for some reason, if they need to tighten something, I don't know, you know. It's hard for them to deal with it, because if you Loctite the end cap on, because that's about how much of the jack you want showing. Right there. You could use blue Loctite on this end cap right here if you wanted to. I tend to not use blue Loctite, because if a customer has to adjust it for some reason or take this cap off, usually the reason they have to do it is because the pickup jack has gotten loose on the inside. And if you try to turn this and it's Loctited, the whole thing's just going to rotate. And most customers are not prepared to deal with reaching in there and holding the jack and that kind of thing. So I do not Loctite them on for customers. I just screw it on, and I get a pair of pliers. I've got the soft jaw StewMac pliers over there, and they don't work for this. They're too slick. I just use these pliers here. You could use a towel on it if you wanted to, but I'm going to grab it firmly and just tighten it. And that's it. And I didn't make any marks or anything on it. It's fine, you know. You want the end jack to be as flush as you can get right there. It's pretty nice. If it's inset, then this jack is not going to work. Plugs in. It's got a nice firm thing. We're done. K&K installation. It's not that hard. The two hardest things, maybe the hardest thing, is drilling the hole in it. The next thing is just getting that jack correctly. And take your time on the placement of the pickup elements. And I highly recommend making yourself a little jig. Even if you're only going to do one, make one out of cardboard. Make a jig so that it'll help you place them. Okay? I'm running out of battery, and so we're going to go. That's a K&K pickup installation.